United's going all in on cardholders. American Airlines has more promotions, and Hyatt, what can we say about Hyatt? Brutal changes this week. All of that coming up right now on MTM Travel. So happy Thursday, Mark, or sad Thursday, I guess, for a lot of people in the miles and points space with all of the Hyatt changes announced yesterday. We will talk about them later in the show, but I think the entire community is a little heartbroken today.
Yeah, I think it was a bit unexpected. And, there was that rumor that came out and people were freaking out a little bit about that. And now everybody's like, I wish the rumor was true because that's a lot better than what we saw here. And I just didn't see them going this route. Like I could see category changes and all that stuff like they do every year, but to just kind of blow up the award chart overall, I mean, there's a high end category 2 that now costs the same as what a standard category 4 used to cost. And that's just insane.
So we'll dive. We have so much to go into with the Hyatt changes. We'll do that at the end of the show because there's a lot to dive into. But let's start with United, and they're making some changes to the MileagePlus program. They've always been very credit card holder centric, having more award space years before anybody else sort of did this. And they're kind of going all in on you need a card. You either need to be elite status or you need a credit card in order to, I don't know, do well in the program. More mileage earning, saver awards now being opened up to card holders as well, more inventory. And on basic economy, if you're not a card holder and you're a basic member, you don't even earn miles anymore.
Yeah, I hate basic economy, but I don't know that this plays a huge role, the actual earning side of things for most of our listeners, because they're probably booking award flights and things like that. Maybe it comes into play if you do have a huge United Travel Bank balance from all the Amex airline incidental credits, and you got those years before because they've definitely been having issues with it this year, or at least lately. So maybe you're looking to burn that and you're like, oh, I was going to earn some miles on these flights and now I'm going to earn less. So holding the card holder, if you are a United Hub captive or you fly them often, you definitely want to get a card because it does help with, like you said, with the lower award flight prices as well as the higher earning rates. But I think Benji has an article coming out this weekend. I don't know if he's going to be mad that we're spilling the beans a little bit early on the debit card, which is maybe like the sweet spot for people that can't get Chase cards.
Yeah, I mean, I think that when you look at all these changes and you look at the program, it doesn't make sense not to have a card, especially if you use them often. And I think they also discount on awards across, I think, all card holders now. So you're going to get a discount. Now, of course, when they put a discount on awards, did they just raise the prices? I don't know. But it just seems like if you're going to be United, then you need to have a card. And also a wider discussion here about Chase Ultimate Rewards, maybe. Because if you're, you need a United card, but if you're just doing Chase Ultimate Rewards, it's harder to get awards now. Hyatt's devalued. This is getting kind of ugly.
Hey, they got Wyndham though, right? At 1X.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, for years the big ones were United and Southwest for some, and that's been challenged lately. And Hyatt, of course. I mean, I think just for the last few years, it's been Hyatt for me. But I did think about these wider changes and how they're going to affect Chase. But back to United. When I read this, I think it's bad if you look at it from the perspective that they're forcing some stuff, but they do have some good perks if you have the card. And I mean, we've said this in the past, like the expanded award availability is substantial compared to a non-card holder availability.
Yeah, and this is now they're kind of rolling in a bit more like what Delta has with the 15% discount if you're a card holder outside of their free blue card. And the same with United outside of their gateway no fee card, which you can earn your way into. If you spend $10,000 on that, then you get access to all the stuff that the other card holders get. Now, the debit card earns like a half a mile per dollar on standard purchases. But once you spend $10,000 on that, it also unlocks all these same perks. So maybe that's kind of the new thing. That's why Benji got it. I think he has a decent travel bank stash that he's looking to work down. And then, of course, the mile discounts and all that stuff you get. And you might think, okay, half a mile per dollar with a debit card, that sucks. And it does, but it's better than nothing you get with most debit cards. And there are those purchases that you can't use a credit card for every year. And maybe you have enough to make it $10,000 in a year, make it worthwhile. Or if you're paying taxes and they give you the cheaper rate, the cheaper fee on debit cards, if you have let's say you have a $10,000 tax bill, you earn a half a mile per dollar, you have that lower fee. Maybe that's better than using a card that earns a 2X or something like that to make those payments and eating the higher fee. So run those figures and this could work for you.
Yeah, it's a great point. And yeah, people will look at I mean, the debit card does have some opportunity. I can't wait to see what Benji writes up for that, because it is like you think, oh, why am I going to waste all of that spend? But as you point out, it may not be the same spend that you're putting on a credit card, and then you can still do this, and then you can open up your Chase slots for other stuff, which is probably a good thing too.
Or if you're over 524 like me and you can't get a Chase card, then this is all you got.
Let us know down in the comments what you think. And we've seen huge changes in the airline industry in the last, 4 or 5 years, all around loyalty points and their credit cards. And they've done an amazing job of locking people into their ecosystems compared to just a few years ago.
Yeah, and I mean, if this was talking about Delta, then I'd probably be in because I do fly Delta more than anybody else, just based out of Detroit. I don't fly United all that often, maybe like once every 10 years on their actual metal. And then using their miles has become less and less advantageous because international flights, I used to book those, but they've gotten expensive. And the last time I used that was, remember when they had like business class everywhere in the world for 60K right before they devalued everything? What was that, like 3 years ago? So flew to Rome on that, a great time. I wish that was still around, but I just don't have the use of it. But people that live in New Jersey or Philly or New York or LA, I don't know. I'm trying to name United places.
Chicago, maybe? Chicago,
yeah,
where they're based?
Yeah, that'd be a good one. Then this definitely makes more sense for them.
Yeah, for sure. But let's talk American Airlines. Something good in this show before we go into all the Hyatt stuff. They have some new rounds of targeted bonus promotions. And the way you see this, you go into your account, your AAdvantage account, and then there's a promotions tab, and you can go and look and see what you are targeted with. I don't have anything but like 3x AAdvantage miles on cruises, but some people have gotten 22,000 bonus miles for 4 flights in first business or premium economy, 8,000 miles for just 2 flights in any cabin. So you can see it's just a mix of bonus miles for a specific kind of flight or a number of flights. Go check it out.
Yeah, there's definitely some better ones than others and some that seem out of reach. The downside is you only get 60 days to accomplish this stuff. It starts when you activate it, so push that out as far as you can. I believe the last day to activate this round is March 1st. It does seem like more people are getting the loyalty points bonus targeted. In the past, it was bonus AAdvantage miles. This time around, it's loyalty. That might work for you if you're going for status next year. The new year kicks off March 1st. So you could activate it and maybe trigger these, especially if you're flying for work or something like that where you have a lot of cash flights. This could just add to your balance and make it a little easier to re-up.
And it's a good reminder to kind of check that promotions tab every once in a while, because it's not just these types of promotions. They often have other stuff. And it's very simple on your account. You just go to my account, hit promotions, and see what they have. And I mean, that's also it's good advice, but also it's like we do so much crap in this hobby and have so much stuff that, yeah, we forget to check all of that. And that's, why we remind you, but it's hard to keep up with all of this.
Yeah, and they often send out emails when a new one comes in, not always. So it's good to just, if you're booking a flight or if you're checking your mileage balance, just kind of pop in there, see what it is. We see status matches with Hyatt from time to time, things like that. There's bonus earning on cruises right now, which might be a good option for you. I don't know how it compares to other things. I know before the show you said just go to a travel agent and it's better for you.
I think so. Maybe you can earn a few miles. Travel agents are free. I just think generally in the cruise space, if you have somebody that's going to book it, if you're not kind of savvy, it doesn't cost you anything to have a travel agent. Sometimes they actually give you incentives, so that might actually be better than getting the 3 miles. So, kind of shop around, but having a travel agent and not just I mean, I guess technically if you're booking through AAdvantage cruises or whatever, you're using a travel agent, but you know what I mean? Like a Joe or somebody like that. So that'd be my recommendation for cruise. Just take all the simplicity out of it. As Mark also said before the show, he's like, they can't help you if you get stuck on the poop cruise.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, once you're there, if things go wrong, you're kind of screwed. And I know somebody commented on the article that they were going to earn 90,000 AAdvantage miles based off of this, and they were booking a cruise for their whole family. So that's maybe the little hack there. If you're booking you're the kind of booker for your group, and you have a couple couples doing it, and they're all going to just send you the money. Maybe this is better than trying to get something from Joe.
It's always beautiful when you're booking a cash stay for a friend or a family member, and there's like a portal payout or something like that. I mean, do you tell the people that you got the portal payout or the
No,
extra spigot? Yeah,
heck
I
no.
don't. I mean, it's just that's the That's the tip, right, for doing it for them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the perks of you handling all that stuff, and I don't think any of them would care in the past. They're, hey, you're taking on all this extra work. You're taking care of everything. You get it all lined up. If you make an extra 3x, and they don't even probably know what 3x is worth.
Yeah, exactly. Just do it for me, and it's all good. But we have arrived at Hyatt. So you talked earlier about this rumor that came out that Doctor Credit had. Uh, I don't know. I think it came from Reddit, but it was confirmed to be fake. It was called the Park Hyatt card and $795 annual fee. And they went through, and so I guess this was a college prank or something, but they went through and listed a bunch of stuff. It's clear that the person who wrote this knew about the wider ecosystem because it was convincing. But I'm surprised we haven't seen a fake rumor like this before. I mean, I don't know if this rumor was worse or what actually happened, but it didn't have anything to do with the actual changes.
I think what actually happened was worse. I think this would have been okay, except for maybe giving away a chance to earn status from spend. I don't remember if that was in this rumor or not, but I know people have been worried about that coming out with like an Aspire type card that gives globalist status. I don't think Hyatt would ever do that. It just doesn't make sense for their ecosystem. But I was kind of surprised that in Reddit, nobody, at least most of the comments I scrolled through quickly, didn't like flame this guy. It was kind of like, hey, A+ on your your college midterm or whatever this was for. Like they all kind of celebrated it, and I thought they'd be like, what a jerk. And it's kind of crazy how it spreads like wildfire, and we see that happen with rumors. And it reminds me, did you ever see the movie Gossip back in like early 2000s with I think James Marsden was in it, and Norman Reedus, the guy that plays Daryl on Walking Dead?
I don't think I saw that movie. No.
Yeah, so that's kind of like the early before there was social media and stuff, and how they could spread a rumor, and they were doing it. If I remember right, I haven't watched this in forever. They were in a college course, and they started a rumor about somebody that was like false, but also kind of malicious, and they wanted to see how it spread and how it grew and all this stuff. And this was like before you could just post it on Reddit.
Well, Hyatt took that rumor and they said, "You lightweight, you
Hold
didn't
my
think
beer.
creatively enough." Yes, exactly. Let's talk about this. There's a few changes. Some that they're trying to spin positively. They are trying to say that this is their way of being able to maintain an award chart. A few years ago, we saw Marriott basically get rid of award charts. Even a secret award chart was sort of published or leaked or something that showed that they had sort of guidelines for minimum and maximum, but then the pricing would be in between there. But they don't have an award chart per se. But Hyatt's basically doing the same thing now. They've added 5 levels to five levels to each category. And before it was 3 to each category. And I think there's a couple ways to look at this. And I think you in your article did a good job of this. Let's look right at the middle and say, okay, what would be the normal, like, not low peak, that peak demand thing? And, obviously before category 1 was 5,000 points. Now it's 6. Category 2, 8 to 10. Category 3, 12 to 15. Category 4, 15 to 20. And you can see it just keeps going on as you guys see it on the screen. And then because they added 5 levels instead of the 3 before, if you look at those top numbers, it's insane. Like for a category 8 mark, peak was 45,000 points. Now it's 75,000 points. And it's just ugly across the board. There are a lot of numbers I'm throwing out here. I will have this up on the screen, but if you're looking for aspirational redemptions with Hyatt, higher end properties, it seems like, man, are the days done?
It's going to be a lot harder and a lot more difficult to book family vacations, stuff like that. Like I even looked at my wife last night because we wanted to go back to Baja Mar, and that's gone from like 25K up to 35K. Now it's going to be going up even further. I'm sure there's going to be a ton of top level categories anytime there's around a holiday, things like that. I'm like, well, if you want to do it, we might need to book it for this year. We're going to go in November of 2027 for Thanksgiving, and I don't know if we can afford it, especially if we do the extended family trip similar to what we did for London and Paris. It's like it's going to be out of reach at that point, or I'm not going to be willing to spend that much. I love my family, but I don't love them that much. Now that's terrible to say, but no, and I think the category 4 is the one that really kind of stood out to me. That was the biggest jump until you get to category 8. They've already devalued category 4 substantially by moving all the kind of aspirational cat 4s, or the ones people love to use their certs at, up to category 5 and 6. We don't see as much meat on the bone there. And then they went from 15 to 20K for the standard rate. Basically, that's just really like pouring salt in the wound. And I said when we started the show, category 2, their top level is 15K, which used to be standard category 4. So I don't know why they would ever need to change categories very often anymore. They basically have 2 categories worth of pricing baked into each one.
I mean, if you look at this, I mean, it's essentially they didn't raise the prices of the categories in their eyes, right? A category one is still category one, and in fact, the category one low mark. This is the big win in the new award
Yeah.
chart. Is only 3,000 instead of
Whew, good
3,500.
luck.
So if you can find that one category one off peak, I mean, this is really good for Hyatt Place people. This is really good for road tripping people, markets that are cheaper. Things like that, because maybe you will find lower demand, but even then, you are going to probably stumble across higher prices through the peak stuff. But yeah, essentially, this is just raising the prices of each category, even though they're not doing that, right? I mean, they're saying they're not doing that, but if a standard category 3 is now 15,000 points, for example, then in the standard category 4 used to be 15,000 points. They just did that. That's what they did.
Yeah, they shifted everything up a category essentially because the majority that we've seen from off peak, peak, and standard was the majority of rooms were standard, and that kind of was true to the award chart forever. So now we're seeing that if that's going to be true going forward, which I think it will be, I think most of the stuff will land in the middle or moderate or whatever the heck they call it now. And when you look at that, it's like, oh, okay, a category 3 is now a 4 is now a 5 is now a 6. So every hotel has been bumped up a category naturally, and across the board, it's probably going to be like a 25 to 30% increase on average for what we were booking, which is huge. This is Hilton esque. Remember when you used to get 1 cent per point for Hilton? What was it, like 15 years ago? And overnight, it went to like half. This isn't quite that bad, but it's in that realm.
And this is a lot to do with the last few years and the boom of Chase. Chase is 100% involved with this and the amount of ultimate rewards people have and that they're transferring over. You have to think that there is obviously the cash rates of hotels have gone up. And so that's affecting it. But overall, it used to be in the hobby, people would talk 2 cents per point for Hyatt. I've long advocated 1.5 cents per point because that's been my real world reality. And it seems like we're headed towards 1 cent a point. I mean, I haven't done any calculations under this new chart, and I'm sure there will be times where you can find better value. But I mean, there's going to be a lot of times where you're at 1 cent per point, no doubt.
Yeah, I think it will settle in the 1.25, 1.3. I mean, they might deep fake this a bit and just push up cash prices so that it still feels like you're getting 1.5 cents per point. And people have done that long, have said, oh, well, I'm still getting 1.5, 1.6 per point. But if you look at the hotel year over year, how many points it cost you. I mean, there used to be a ton of category 1s around here. Now we only have one, and that's up in Flint. The other 5 have moved up to category 2, category 3. And they've done that naturally. 2 years ago, they basically moved half of the category 1s up, or a huge percentage. I forget what it was, but it was a massive amount of category 1s went up. Nothing came back down. So they've already shifted things up one category through these award chart change or through these category changes. Now they're bumping everything else up another category through these pricing changes. So you're getting a lot less. Even if the cent per point kind of works out, that's just inflated cash prices that we're seeing. What your points got you in actual head and bed stays is so much worse. It's probably half versus before pandemic.
Yeah, because remember, they just revamped the program, 4 years ago when they added the different tiers. And so if you think about 5 or 6 years ago, it's like a crazy world, let alone thinking 10 years ago. And there's a narrative in the space that this is the best program, and a lot of people love it. I mean, I've been a top tier Hyatt for over 10 years now in a row. So that tells you I am a customer. I've taken advantage of Chase and points, but I've also paid for cash days when it made sense. So I've definitely been in their ecosystem. And I think that this narrative that they're the best has to go away at this point. Maybe we like the on property benefits and we could still say from that point, but I don't see a huge value in this. And also, do we have faith in this company going forward, given how bad this is devalued, that it's not going to happen again? And I'm not saying, I mean, Hyatt, I know I've talked to their executives. I'm not saying this is an evil company. I mean, they're dealing with realities that they've watched their competitors go through. They've also grown tremendously in the last few years, tons of all inclusives. And by the way, we didn't talk about all inclusives or Miraval, but don't worry, they got those charts too. Those went
Yeah.
up too. So nothing was left untouched. I don't think they're an evil company. I think that there's a lot of market realities in the way that travel changed. I think there's an abundance of Chase points, an abundance Hyatt points. And I
Bilt.
think this is, yeah, I think this is just, honestly, this is just inflation that we've seen in other areas of our lives. but also we should reevaluate how we look at Hyatt within our miles and points strategy. Lots of great properties, still going to be part of my strategy, but yeah, as you say, I mean, my points are not going nearly as far anymore.
Yeah, and that's the question people need to ask themselves. It was always hey, globalist is definitely worth it. Go for it. Even if you have to mattress run 10, 15 nights. I don't think that's such an easy conversation anymore, especially when you really think about it. How many people travel based around where Hyatt hotels are and skip over some areas because it doesn't have a Hyatt because they need to get those 60 nights? Maybe it was worth it when you're getting really good value for your points and getting the best, which I think it's still the best top tier status. And I don't think it's all that close. So you would do that, or you would stay outside of the city center, or be a little bit more inconvenienced, have to hop on a train to get places. Like, you were willing to bend over backwards to work within Hyatt's footprint. It's gotten better. It's still nowhere near compared to Marriott, Hilton, IHG. So like, they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot here. All these people that were loyal and were willing to overlook those things, are they still going to be able to? Are they still willing to do that? Are they still going to do? I mean, how much of this is fabricated mattress runs or stays at Rio and things like that? Like, how many nights a year is that people chasing their status that might not anymore? So where does that affect the bottom line too?
I will say a lot of this was a little bit offensive to me, but you know the most offensive thing I saw this week in regards to Hyatt? The new breakfast at Rio, that little breakfast
Oh, yeah.
buffet that hurdy-gurdy shared. I mean, I hope it's more than that when he put in those pictures, because it's like this ugly egg dish, and oh my God, what a downgrade. How sad.
It looks exactly like a Hyatt Place breakfast. I don't know what you're talking about.
We should say that Hyatt did announce a couple of good things in this changes. And first off, they say that Explorers, Globalists, Lifetime Globalists, and World of Hyatt card members will enjoy early access to award night availability. I don't know what that means. Did we learn anything about how that's going to work?
No, we didn't. And that could be just like a United type thing where they say, oh, you'll get access to it earlier. And maybe they'll just, I don't know that they're going to open up the schedule more. Maybe they'll add like an extra month that you can book early. Or maybe it's just everybody else doesn't get access until, 10 months out or whatever it be. Like, maybe they just screw other people, kind of like United screwing other people that don't have cards versus offering something unique. And they raise the rates like we said at United, they'll probably will. So I don't know if that's going to play out that well. And then also, like, does Globalist get the same access that a guy holding a $95 card gets? That doesn't seem right. Or does the clock start earlier for them? It'll be interesting to see if they make this actually a feature or if it just forces other people to either get a card or get some type of status.
Yeah, I don't think that this is going to be a huge deal for me, the person who never books ahead. But the other big thing I do think is a big deal. They announced that this year they will be implementing digital points transfers, and this is huge. I mean, for years, Hyatt has allowed you to transfer points between accounts, but they required you to fill out a form and either fax it. I think they still have the fax number, honestly, or email it. You could email it. That's the way you should do it. But now, this year, sometime it will be digital, and that's great news.
Yeah, and it should have been done a long time ago. Everybody else lets you do it online. It doesn't make sense why it hasn't been there. Plus, think of all the manual labor they have to look at these forms, fill them out, process them, all that stuff. And they would get processed in batches. So I'm sure it's one person sitting there. Hopefully, they find a new role for them or something. But this should save them money, streamline things. I do wonder, we've seen when they allowed you to transfer perks like guest of honor and free night certs and all that stuff, they did see some fraud. And are they going to have problems with that? Are they going to fight it? Are we going to run into issues with people transferring points or selling points or whatever it be? I think that's just something you have to deal with. But it's good to see this. I wish the one thing we really need now, and that would have maybe lessened this blow, is being able to top off free night certificates. But we didn't mention that free night certificates are now worth more.
There you go. What a spin. What a spin.
Yeah.
What a way to do it. I don't know what to say because I like this company a lot. I like the executives a lot. I realize that the world has changed a lot and they've tried to, over the years, maintain things. I do think things like not being able to top off certs, it makes no sense. I mean, a couple years ago, I was at Hyatt HQ. We asked the question about why they weren't doing it, and they were very stern in saying that they didn't have plans to top off certs. It's like they're very against it. They did make a lot of great changes digitally with being able to transfer awards and all kinds of stuff. So that really has, I think, made the program better in the last couple of years. And I'm sure the digital points transfer will be too. But Nothing's going to overcome these award charts. And these changes go into effect in May. So you do have some time. You have a couple months in order to get your bookings in. The nice thing about Hyatt is if you book before, they will obviously honor that as long as you don't have to make a change to the reservation. So I think as somebody who doesn't always plan way ahead, I have a lot of stays to get on the books to at least enjoy these old rates, which, as you pointed out early in the show, are higher than they were a few years ago, like by a lot. So yeah, I'm feeling sad.
Yeah, and I mean, there's more bad news to come, Sean. An article coming out today, actually, while we were recording, I think it just went live, but they're still doing the category resets. They're still moving hotels up and down, and they used to do that in February, I believe. It's coming in April. It's going to be in April every year. And I did confirm that they are still doing that this year. So they will be jumping some hotels up and down. And remember, I look back at like an article I wrote about this in 2019, 2018, and it usually was like, hey, 150 moving up, 148 moving down. It was pretty even. And they were really good about that until COVID. And now it's like 170 moving up and 15 moving down. That's what it feels like. I don't know how bad this is going to get. I would have thought that they would skip it this year because they have a wide range of ability within this new award chart that they could basically move a hotel up a category in price without moving it. So maybe it will be a small amount, like they say they wanted to do this so they don't have to move things so often. But if they do anything that's like near what they've done in the past, people are going to just lose their ish.
Yeah, I almost think it's stupid of them not to announce them yesterday and just get it all out at once, because you really did alter the award categories. But yeah, they do it every year. They're going to do it. It's probably going to be bad. The economics on the back end have changed, and that's why I think you saw them have a certain amount go up and down, and they were trying to be fair. And I think that they're making more money and they're taking more money. And I think that the economics have just changed in the way that they're operating the business. Not that we want to talk politics here, but it is, I think, we're talking Hyatt. Their chairman stepped down last week too. So this is a company in transition in that way. And so, yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I am, for the first time in a long time, I'm much less hopeful about the future of this program and its ability or its usefulness, I think, to get outsized value anymore.
Yeah, and I've been not focusing on Hyatt as much the last few years, and over the last year, I haven't really stayed in that many Hyatts, a couple, and I haven't touched my points in a while. I still have a decent little balance there, but I've been leaning more into Hilton, their free night certs that work at any property with a standard room. I find those to be overly valuable, and if you want aspirational properties, that's kind of been my focus. But I do think, and I think next week we'll have to talk about this on the show. Like this changes Bilt for me. Like I'm not as excited about earning Bilt points. I'm sure it changes Chase for a lot of people, especially when you look at United not being as valuable, Southwest not being nearly as valuable, and now Hyatt not being nearly as valuable. If they would have kept the edit credit or the edit points where you could book the hotels and get 2 cents per point through the portal, I think that's where everybody would be shifting. Maybe they knew this was coming from Hyatt, so that's why they pulled it back, even though they never said that they were going to be pulling it back and acted like they did. And they knew, oh, people are going to come here and this is going to cost us a lot more. And then also, does Bilt and Chase renegotiate with Hyatt because they are worth less? And then maybe do we actually see our first Bilt? I would think it would be Bilt would be more likely. Hyatt transfer bonus. I don't know.
Yeah, we're going to need it just to get any sort of a value. We're really going to need a transfer bonus Hyatt. Give it to us. One last point I'll make: when they changed over to World of Hyatt from Gold Passport, they made a very interesting decision in that for lifetime globalist status, that it's based on the points earned through spend with Hyatt. And this was sort of before a lot of the companies had gone to spend. But I've been a top tier Hyatt for a long time, and I realized this whole time that I wasn't building towards anything lifetime because I don't spend enough money in order to. I mean, I have some points that I've earned, but not enough. And so yeah, just reevaluate yourself. This isn't just because you've been doing this for 10 years with Hyatt and you've enjoyed a lot doesn't mean that they're dead to you, and it doesn't mean that you can't go elsewhere, that there isn't other value. The Hilton certs are probably the best value left around, but these companies this goes back. We've talked about this for years, Mark. These are not your friends. They're not your family members. Don't get these strong emotional ties to these companies. Enjoy them for what they are. And I really do love Hyatt as a brand, but do right by yourselves because they're doing right by themselves.
Yeah, the loyalty programs are loyal to the owners, to the airlines, to the hotels. We are the product that they sell. They don't actually run anything. They just sell points back and forth, and they use us as the chips to move around and all those things. So that's why I think that's where we really started to see when these things decoupled from Hyatt owning hotels or Hilton owning hotels and moved out to where franchises and stuff like that, and airlines not trying to uh, make money from running the airline. They're trying to make money from selling miles. It kind of shifted where they don't look at loyalty the same way, and we shouldn't either.
Totally agreed. So let us know down in the comments what you guys think about all the Hyatt changes. Of course, United and American, what we talked about earlier. But Hyatt, are you heartbroken? Are you taking this personally? What are you doing to plan to get the most value out of the next year, whatever you can book before the changes? All of that stuff down below. We do 2 shows a week. Tuesdays, we talk about our travels and all that fun stuff. Thursdays, miles and points, just like this show. We also do 3 shows a week over on the Vegas channel. Check them out. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
Have a good week, everybody. Rest in peace, Hyatt.
Thank you and enjoy your